Hi everyone, this is Erin. I hope you can hear me okay. I will get us started today. As our host mentioned, my name is Erin Vogt. I come from the George Washington University School of Engineering and Applied Science. There I work with students who are interested in our master's and PhD programs in everything from electrical engineering to mechanical engineering, computer science, and data analytics, everything in between. Um, if uh, if Gordon is able to, maybe you can also introduce yourself a bit right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Erin. Hello, everyone. My name is Gordon Berridge. I'm the Associate Director for Graduate Admissions here at Bentley University in the McCallum Graduate School of Business. We do all the MBA programs here at Bentley University. We also do our analytics programs, Masters in Finance, Accountancy, as well. So we're really looking forward to having you here with us today. And for that, I'll turn it back over to Erin to get us started.
All right, great, thank you. So we're here today to talk to you about searching for a graduate program. And I think there are a lot of different things that we can talk about, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have as well at the end of the presentation. For me, the most important place to start is to talk about what is a best fit university and how to find the best fit for you when you're searching for a graduate program. There are so many different criteria that you can consider, and we'll try to talk about those today as you're working through your graduate program search. Um, but it's really important to think about what criteria are the most important to you to make sure that you're happy with the program that you chose, the school you chose, the location that you chose, and all of those things. So when we talk about searching for the best fit, the items up on the screen, these are just a few of the things that I recommend to think about as you're beginning your graduate program search. So of course, finding the academic program that you're interested in is the most important thing. If you know you want a master's degree in finance, you need to be sure that you're choosing a graduate school that has that exact program that you're interested in. Um, if you know that you want to study chemical engineering, for example, GW's School of Engineering and Applied Science isn't the right place for you because we don't offer chemical engineering. So that's of course always your starting point, is make sure you're finding the academic program that you want. But these other factors are really important too. So thinking about the faculty that you want to work with, the type of research that you might want to conduct if you're interested in a research program, looking at the financial aspects of a university. How much does this university cost? How much scholarship funding do they offer? How is the cost of living in that city? All of those financial considerations are of course a top priority as well. And thinking about the location, what city do you want to go to? Do you want to go to the East Coast or the West Coast? Do you want a big city? Do you want a small town? Um, what career outcomes are you looking for? And are you sure that this school can help you achieve your career goals? You can talk to the school, you can talk to perhaps the career office or some alumni, and try to figure out that information as well. So my recommendation is just to think about all of these factors and to start to make a list, write it down in a notebook or whatever works for you, about like what are your top priorities in a graduate school search, so that when you're looking at websites, when you're having the opportunity today to chat with representatives directly from these universities, you can ask about these factors and make sure that that school will meet your needs. So I'll also talk a little bit about resources and where you can go for more information. So now you know many of the factors that you're looking for when you're searching for a graduate program. And one common question that we have is, well, who do I ask if I need more information about whatever the case may be? So I think it's important to understand that admissions staff at a university, such as myself, such as Gordon, and all the representatives that will be chatting with you today, we are a great first contact for any questions that you have. If we don't know the answers to your questions, we usually know who the best person to ask is, so we can help direct you. For the admissions staff, the questions that we answer most often are questions about the application process. What is the application deadline? what English exam, IELTS or TOEFL or other exams, what do you require? Do you require GRE or GMAT exams? Do you offer a program in a certain subject? All of those kind of basic questions about applying to a university and applying to a program, we are answering those 100 times a day. So we're happy to help answer all of those questions for you. But there are some other resources that I want to mention to you that you might consider reaching out to or asking to be in contact with as you consider your graduate program search. Someone, mentioned in the chat to speak louder, so I'll try to do that. Please let me know if you're still having trouble hearing. So other resources that you might consider, for example, many universities have student ambassadors. These are current students in the program who can chat with you about their experience in the program, their experience living at that university, any questions that you might have. A current student is always a great source of information. So for example, I can just speak for GW, of course, but if you're interested in our School of Engineering and you go to our website, there will be an option to chat with a current student. And you can even see that student's profile, where are they from, what program are they in, and you can click to send them a chat and just ask them a question about their experience at GW. That's a great way to get a firsthand experience so that you're not only talking to staff members when you're considering that university. Also faculty. So a really common question that we get as admissions staff is, can I contact a faculty member or should I contact a faculty member? This is an especially common question if you're interested in a PhD program. So students are often asking, I'm interested in a PhD, do I need to already have a faculty member before I can apply for your program? So again, this can vary depending on what university you're interested in. I can only answer for GW and some other universities that I've worked for in the past, but I can say generally you can apply to a program without having a faculty member already arranged if you're interested in a PhD program, but it will really help your application if you've already talked to a faculty member. If you're interested in master's programs, most of the time, you do not have to have any contact with faculty before joining that program. The only time we would recommend for you to contact a faculty directly is if you're having some questions about research opportunities, if you're concerned about if this program is the right fit for you and you aren't sure if it's going to put you on the right career path, we might recommend that you talk to a faculty about your concerns. We can help facilitate that. So if we have 100 students every day asking, can I talk to a faculty member? The faculty members might not have time to address all of those questions. So we try to answer everything that we can first, and we will direct you to faculty if we think that they can help you. On our website and on many universities' websites, we are publishing the faculty members, the names, the contact information, email address, everything. So we're not standing between you and the faculty members. If you have a faculty member that you want to ask a question to, you are interested in working with, researching with, you can certainly email them directly. I know that our faculty, they try really hard to respond to student questions anytime that they're able to. So if they're really busy, they might direct your question back to the admissions staff. But if they have time and they're able to, they will try their best to answer your questions. There's no need to contact faculty if your questions are simply like about the application process or how many credits does this program require. Those kind of questions, the admissions staff can easily help you with, and so that we can make the best use of everyone's time. And finally, I just want to mention alumni as a resource for information. I've worked with Education USA a lot in the past, and they are great facilitators for you. If there's maybe an alumni in your community, maybe through the Education USA network that they know about, they will gladly connect you with alumni of a university so that you can talk locally with a student who has attended that school. You might also just talk to students in general or alumni in general who attended school in the US. Even if they didn't attend the same school as you, maybe they know the city that you're interested in, or maybe they studied the same program. They can really provide a lot of information. a lot of admissions offices can also help connect you with an alumni. So maybe you're curious, hey, as a student from Tajikistan ever studied at your school? If we know of someone, we can gladly connect you with that person and say, oh yeah, we have this student who graduated 2 years ago. Maybe they can help answer your questions. We will do our best to connect you with alumni in whatever area that you're interested in, so that you can talk with them about their experience and their outcomes after studying at our university. So I hope that helps just talk a little bit about the different people that you can get more information from during the graduate search process. I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Gordon now, and he's going to talk a little bit more about some details about accreditation and university rankings, which I know students are often asking us a lot of questions about. And as Gordon just mentioned in the chat as well, if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We'll try to leave time at the end and help address those for you. So over to you, Gordon.
Wonderful. Thanks, Erin, so much. That was really great. Good information. And I hope everyone took some really great notes, because that's such important information that I hope everyone takes advantage of as we go through. So I want to talk a little bit about accreditation here in the United States, because it's a little bit different from country to country all around the world. And so here in the United States, what you're looking at for accreditation specifically is regional accreditation. And regional accreditation is really the highest standard accreditation you can get here in the US. All of these do work with the Federal Department of Education here in the United States. So basically what this is signifying is that these schools have high quality and meet the standards of high quality education. So whether you're looking at schools like Bentley University here in the Northeast, where we have the New England Association of Schools and Colleges, or maybe you're looking in down in Southern Florida or everywhere else, you really want to look for those regional accreditations. Now, one thing I will say is you're off to a really great start attending an Education USA conference today, because all of the universities and colleges here today are accredited regionally. Any university who attends and participates in an Education USA event must be regionally accredited. So you can rest assured that all of the universities, whether that's GW, Erin School, or Bentley University, my school, we all meet the strict standards for accreditation for high quality standards in education. So you're off to a great start. So, but if you decide to look at other schools that are not participating in today's event, you just do want to make sure that you are looking at regional accreditation. There are other types of accreditation here in the US. There's national and international accreditation. Please note that those are all different, but the one you do want to look for is regional accreditation here in the United States. So here's the other big question that I know I get all the time, and I was talking to Erin the other day. I know she gets a lot of questions about, which is rankings and the importance of rankings and what do rankings mean. So here's some pretty standard rankings, and rankings, I can tell you, are a great place to start your search for graduate school, but it should not be the only thing you base your graduate school on. And I'll go through a little bit more of that in a minute. So when you're looking at rankings, there's typically two types. So there's international rankings, and then there's US national rankings here in the United States that focus just on US schools. And so for your purposes, you can look at either. Again, the international rankings is going to place US schools up against all of the other schools in the world. And then your US rankings is just going to really be more specific about US schools in particular, and kind of put us up against each other as you go through this process. And so the ones I put up here, these are probably the most well-known rankings internationally and domestically here in the United States. And these are the ones that typically people and governments and things like that look at when looking at different universities, both domestically here in the United States and around the world. So again, these are great places to get started in your graduate school resource, but I just want to emphasize that it shouldn't be the only thing that you choose a school based on. Because university rankings, there's a bunch of different ways that you can use them. So first things first, you want to use it to see what types of schools are listed that maybe you're not be aware of. And so maybe there's a school on there that you might not be aware of. Maybe you see the typical schools that show up at the top of every list here in the US and internationally, but perhaps there's a school on there that you might not be aware of. So maybe that's a great opportunity to educate yourself on another school that you might not have heard of, and you can learn a little bit more about that. You also want to use it to determine what type of strength a university has that are important to you. In the beginning of this presentation, Erin listed out some great opportunities of what to look for when trying to choose a graduate school. And so when you're looking to do that, use these rankings. And I can tell you that a lot of the rankings that I showed you earlier, they have multiple lists of, I've seen some that have the best food, the best housing, the best graduate school programs for research, the best graduate school programs for practical experience, the best internship opportunities, the best graduation rate, who makes the most amount of money after graduating from these particular programs. And so when you're looking at these types of rankings, look at what those strengths of those universities are, and are they important to you? If you're going to be living off campus, maybe on-campus housing isn't that important to you. And so, you want to look at some of the other factors that are important to you. So perhaps, having a hands-on experience and working with real companies and working on, real projects is really important to you. So you want to try to find one of those rankings that can help you determine that. You can also be used to determine quality of the education at the institution. So again, just like regional accreditation, you can use rankings to determine the quality of the education that you are going to receive. Now, here's a really important one, number 4. Make sure to see what type of methodology and data points they are using to determine the rankings. For example, is it the cost of the school? So the cost per course or cost per credit. Is it article submissions? Some rankings weigh heavily on the number of articles that are published by the professors. Is it done by surveys? A lot of these rankings will survey current students or alumni. Some will survey other university students and other university professors about other universities to look on reputation. Some is on graduation rate, sometimes it's on location. And so there are literally hundreds and hundreds of different data points that these rankings can look at. So when you're looking at these rankings, again, take a look at that methodology, see what type of data points they're using to determine the rankings. And again, align them with your own pieces of information that are important to you. To really make sure that you're making the best decision for you. Also look at the source of the ranking. The ones I gave you are just the most popular ones, but I can tell you, if you do a search for college rankings in the United States, you'll see tons and tons of different ones. And so again, look at those sources. Again, you want to see what those sources are. What do those mean to you? Looking at those data points and understanding that methodology. So again, university rankings, again, they're a great place to start. They're a great place to really get your research started. But again, I do want to emphasize, don't make this the only point that you use to determine your school. I want to go back to what Erin said earlier about reaching out to the institution, talking to admissions officers like myself and Erin to get a real personal feel, talk to faculty members. Just as Erin mentioned, here at Bentley University, same thing. We love it when our students reach out to our faculty members. However, obviously start with the graduate admissions office first. We too have students that you can speak with and really learn a lot more and get that in-depth information about the institution as you're going through. So again, rankings, great place to start, but don't let it be your only decision maker. All right, the most important factor is finding the right fit for you. This is really what it's all about. It's about finding that right fit for what works for you and who you are and where you want to be throughout this process as you're going through this whole thing. So I'm going to bring back Erin because I think we're getting back to the end of our presentation because I think we're going to take questions here in a minute. Erin, did you have anything else to say in regards to this before we go on to the question slide?
Nope, it sounds great. I think this is a great time to take questions, and it looks like we've gotten a few already from the audience. I do see one question about the student's local university and whether or not it has accreditation, if that will affect their application. I'm so glad Education USA Belarus jumped in there to help answer that question. Just asking if the university has a national license, because if I got this question as an admissions representative, I would absolutely refer you back to Education USA. Unfortunately, we just aren't familiar with every local university. and their status. So I think Education USA is a great place to start with questions about your local education, about local or national programs that you might qualify for, local or national funding opportunities, all of those kind of questions. Definitely start with Education USA. If a student applied to our school and we weren't sure, we weren't familiar with their university and we needed to check on its accreditation, we do have resources that we can check to be sure that we can accept that application. So feel free to reach out to admissions teams if you are still having questions about that, but definitely start with your Education USA advisor. I put the website up on the screen here, how to find your local advising center, but you're here today, so you probably already know that. And myself and Gordon are happy to answer questions too. I did see there was one other question about graduate assistantships. And what are the chances and the process for that? So I can answer that quickly from my perspective, and I'll let Gordon jump in if he might have a different answer. But for GW, for the engineering school, it is possible to get in a graduate assistantship, but they are most common for PhD applicants, not for MS applicants. So it's very uncommon to get an assistantship as a master's applicant. So for master's degree fundings, we typically offer tuition scholarships, and you're automatically reviewed for any scholarship opportunities that we have. It might be a 25% scholarship. We have a few 100% scholarships, but they're quite rare. So I'll just caution you to definitely talk to schools individually about what financial support that they can offer. For example, if you need, for a master's degree program, if you need full funding support, so tuition and living expenses covered by the university, that can be pretty difficult to find, not impossible, but difficult. And so you want to be sure to be very direct with universities when you're asking, if that type of funding opportunity is available there. And I'll let Gordon jump into if you have anything else to add about graduate assistantships.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you, Erin. I think that what you said is very true. I mean, here at Bentley University, one of the things that we do is we do offer graduate assistantships, but I think one of the questions I get about it is our graduate assistantships are not teaching positions. I think a lot of students think they're going to come and become teachers assistants and things like that. Our graduate assistantships, you'll be working on campus in one of our departments. Perhaps, if you're interested in, for example, business analytics, you'll work with our business intelligence office or maybe do research with a professor. So we do have graduate assistantship opportunities here on our campus, but please note they are not teaching positions. You will not be correcting papers and things like that. Perhaps working in one of our research centers or working with one of our professors or working with one of our business divisions here at the university. That's kind of aligned with what you are doing in the program. And then, to what Erin said too, we do obviously have scholarships available. You don't have to do anything extra, you just fill out the application. And that's the case for most universities. And so, for us, same thing, 20, 30, 40%. We do have some full funded, but they are very rare as well for those outstanding applicants that go through. So Erin answered that question so beautifully, so I'm not going to delve on it too much because I see other great questions coming up here. And so I see one here. It says, good evening. Is it possible to get the recording of this webinar? So we are recording it. And so my understanding is that we will be allowing this. I'll let Education USA Belarus jump in on that.
Yeah, we will record it. We have recorded it, and we will upload it to our Education USA YouTube channel. It's actually Education USA Kazakhstan YouTube channel. Do we have time? We have 2 minutes to address 2 more questions.
No, so I'll put this question. We have one question on PhDs and one question on scholarships for international students. So for scholarships for international students, reach out to each individual institution, but also use Education USA. They are such an amazing resource. They can help you find different information on different universities, different institutions, different opportunities. And then you can also reach out to the university. And so I would recommend, with that, reach out to the Education USA. And then I'll leave this last question, this last minute or so, and Erin, I'll ask you. It says here, is it possible to get a teacher's assistant GA position in PhD without publications? Also, I recently graduated from undergraduate degree. So I don't know if you'd be able
great
to answer that.
question. So definitely possible. I'm just speaking from GW's perspective, but I'll try to make it as general as possible. So at GW, for example, we don't require publications as part of a PhD application. Of course, the more publication you have, the more research experience, that sort of thing, the more competitive your application will be. And PhD programs are extremely competitive in the US, I'm sure you're aware. So especially because most of the PhD programs are offering funding as well. So so it helps, but it's definitely not a requirement. The other part of your question is you're just graduating from, or the other comment is you're just graduating from undergraduate program. At GW, we do allow direct entry candidates. So candidates who are coming directly from a bachelor's degree into a PhD program. But again, I'll just say that it's extremely competitive and we only admit a few applicants every year that are coming direct from bachelor's programs. They have to be really, really top applicants with a lot of experience. Otherwise, majority of our applicants for PhD programs are first getting a master's degree either in their home country or in the US or a third country, and then applying to the PhD program.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. I know somebody had a quick question about a master's degree after you pick your university. Reach out to the admissions office, people like Erin or I. So once you pick your school, the first people you should contact is the graduate admissions office or the admissions office of the school that you're applying to. So that should be the first person or people you reach out to after doing that. I apologize that we didn't get to everybody's question. However, you see my email address as well as Erin's email address. If you send an email to us, we are more than happy to respond to your questions and help out. Also, you can come and visit us at the booths. Both Erin and I will be participating in our booth, so you can come by there. We'd be happy to speak with you or chat with you one-on-one in our booths at both the GWU booth and the Bentley University booth, where we can have a more in-depth conversation. And again, Education USA, thank you so much. We really appreciate you having us. This is such a wonderful event. We really appreciate participating. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Erin and Gordon, and to everyone. This is such a good time for you to chat with 65 US universities. So take this opportunity and inform your friends if they haven't signed up. And I think that it's time for us to end this presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.